All right, started up. A little day off, feeling refreshed.
Feeling great.
Man, my legs are so fresh. I feel like I'm running faster, jumping higher. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR Nuggets podcast.
Let's go. Let's go.
There it is, a little two-man game for you. It's been a while, man.
We haven't had this two-man game in a while.
It's been a really long time. We've had the full squad, but injuries starting to pile up.
I know. Injuries with the Nuggets, some people dropping out of the DNBA show.
But you know what? Jokic and AG never hurt.
Am I the AG? I know I'm not the Jokic.
I was sitting there going like, AG.
You were going to call me the Jamal Murray, but he's hurt.
So I was like, all right, well, it doesn't quite work here. You know what? Jokic and AG, though, here's the thing.
I could be the Michael Malone. I could be the Aaron Gordon.
You could be the Stan Kroenke if you want to be. Aaron Gordon, Mr. Nugget, man. You know what? It's not an insult. It felt like an insult saying that, but it's not, man.
It's not. Did you see on Twitter somebody...
Pull this up, Alyssa. Wind retweeted it, so it should be on his timeline.
From last night, somebody paid money to have Aaron Gordon sign a Aaron Gordon jersey, and the guy wanted him to sign it as Mr. Nugget. And he signed it as Mr. Nugget.
That is the coolest thing, man.
How awesome is that?
It is awesome, but I didn't know that detail. So I didn't. I thought maybe he just did sign it as Mr. Nugget.
That's what I originally thought, and then everybody
corrected
me that he wanted him to sign it as Mr. Nugget. Right. Still cool.
Still very cool. Still very, very cool.
Still cool that because he could have said like, "Nah, man, I'm not Mr. Nugget. I'm not signing it as that.
I'm AG50."
Yeah,
or something. Yeah.
But
he was like, "Hell yeah!"
He embraces Mr. Nugget.
We still have that Mr. Nugget bottle together. Oh yeah, scroll down a little, Alyssa, or open up the photo here.
Yeah, right
look
there.
Right there, Mr. Nugget. That's actually awesome, man. That's freaking awesome.
Some people are calling me the Reggie Jackson of the chat or of the show. That is an insult, I would say.
Somebody said Adam smiles too much to be Jokic. Do you see my persona, Alyssa? Isn't this incredible? We got Alyssa producing today. This is what I'm too happy. This is how I'm known around the office. Just always bubbly.
And I'm known as the Reggie Jackson.
Everybody loves Reggie.
Now.
Show's off to a great start. Me and Harrison today, we're going to get to a mailbag. You guys sent some very good questions, really made for some great topics to go back and forth on. The main topic we'll discuss is, and I've been thinking about this a lot, watching all these teams. The Nuggets are 9-2, and for some reason, I don't know if you feel this way. It just doesn't quite feel like they're 9-2.
Would you say they're going a little under the radar?
Man, I honestly think they're perfectly under the radar. Hey, the Boston Celtics, they get a big win yesterday to climb to 9-2, and everyone's like, that's the best team in the NBA.
Now they have the MVP of the league.
They have the clear MVP. And then you look at the Nuggets, you're like, well, they're 9-2, and it's like, oh, man.
Which is funny because they've already played a fair amount of games on national television.
Right.
They had what I call a convincing opening night win against the Lakers.
I remember that one.
They beat the Mavs on national TV.
Yeah, that's another good one.
They just beat the Clippers on national TV in-season tournament game.
Well, not exactly an impressive win there, but okay.
It wasn't that impressive, but I mean, that was at least a game more people than just, the local market was tuning in for. You would think if there was any year that they would get out to a 9-2 start and be talked about, it'd be this year.
You would think.
But still under the radar.
So I think it sets things up perfectly. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But we have to open with, today the Denver Nuggets held practice before going out on a 5-game road trip. It's going to be a very challenging one. You were there. I was not. I was doing the All-NBA show with Tim Legler. Check it out. Subscribe. Shout out to the show. Check it out. But you were there, and you saw Michael Porter talk, Jalen Pickett talked, and, of course, Malone. Give me some notes.
Oh, let's get to what Michael Malone had to say. First off, great vibe at practice, I thought. It felt relaxed, but also focused. It's going to be a big test. 5-game road trip at this point in the season with no Jamal Murray for now. It's definitely going to be a test for this team, for the bench. which we'll talk about. But Michael Malone was talking about Jamal Murray. He missed his 4th straight game the other night. Jamal Murray is going to be traveling with the team on this road trip. He's going to be traveling, but I will say Vlatko Čančar also traveling.
Well, sure.
But Malone did not rule Jamal Murray out of this entire road trip. He was asked, is there a timetable? Could he return? He said he didn't give a timetable, but he said, I don't know if he's going to play or if he's not going to play on this 5-game road trip so far. I would be surprised if he played. I would be. It still seems a little early for him to come back, but his return isn't months away.
Right.
You can see it on the horizon.
So they have an in-season tournament game tomorrow and another one on Tuesday. Yeah. So because you would think maybe if there was a game that you could say that's the game, maybe he wants to get back for that.
You think they want to just ramp him up for an in-season tournament game?
I think maybe for no, come on. But I'm saying maybe if there was sometimes you look at the schedule and you're like, okay, is there a game he's targeting? Yeah. But not really. Like if you look at this road trip, there are some tough ones. At Houston at the end. I guess that is the in-season tournament game. So
right, that's the final pool play game.
Oh, wait.
Group play game.
Should I my own conspiracy corner here? Is this actually... Hold up a second.
Please.
Could he be looking at that game and saying, I don't know if I am ready? But Houston...
If we need it.
Undefeated in pool play. Denver, undefeated in pool play. It could come down to that matchup. There is a chance he goes, I'm feeling pretty good.
So... Remind me of the specific in-season tournament rules for advancing. It's the winner of each group.
Correct.
And then how many wild cards?
Two wild cards.
Okay.
Now, I got to be honest with you because I don't know the answer to this. I thought it was 2 teams with the best record in the NBA they get the wild cards. But I'm not sure because somebody the other day said it was the best teams in pool play, the best record in pool play, and that the point differential all comes into it.
I've heard a lot about the point differential.
So maybe it actually has more to do with pool play. If you can try to maybe look that up. But either way, you would rather just win cleanly, right? You'd rather just beat Houston and leave no doubt, and then you get a seat into the in-season tournament.
Or what if Jamal Murray makes a triumphant return in Vegas?
To me, that would be the coolest.
In the semifinal or final game of the in-season tournament.
To me, that would be the coolest, but he'll be back before that, I think, because they play games. That game against Houston's on the 24th. They play games on the 26th, 7th, 9th, 29th, 1st, and 2nd. So there's a lot of games before the end of pool play and the start of tournament play.
So we're looking at a scenario where he's likely back if the Nuggets make it to Vegas for the Final Four. That he's back for that.
Yeah, so that would be great.
So the tiebreaker order for the wild cards is group stage head-to-head.
So if there's 2 teams in the same pool that qualify, which is probably not going to happen.
Not that. The next tiebreaker says group stage point differential.
So maybe it is just pool play.
Yeah. All right, Nuggets got to run up the score against the Pelicans.
I'm telling you, I'm kind of into this in that I really want the Nuggets to win this one. So Houston standing in their way. Yeah. Maybe that's why Jamal looked at that and was like, you know what? For $500,000, I'll come back. I'll come back at that Houston game.
But Michael Malone said he's working hard to get back. Don't know if he'll play on this road trip or not. But he's getting closer. He's getting closer for sure.
You said you saw him work out too the other day, and he's...
Yeah, I watched him work out before the game the other night against the Clippers. I don't think he was going 100%.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that far off. He was doing more at a higher level than I expected him to.
This is the thing about hamstrings is you can do things, and you could go hard. It's just that you can't go 100%. And so, game action, you hurt a hamstring not off of something crazy, but just off of a push-off. And then you're like, crap. So it's a tough one, man. Hamstrings are tricky.
Yeah. Mike Malone was talking about Jalen Pickett
Let's go.
Well. And
is he joining the Pickett line?
He's thinking about it. He's thinking about it.
All right.
He gave Jalen Pickett a lot of credit for making his rotation debut the other night, especially against a Clippers team that he said is a tough team to have your first game against. The Clippers lead league in steals. They have a lot of really good defenders, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Terrence Mann. But Michael Malone shouted him out and said he was really impressed with his level of poise.
Yep.
And that he did not get rattled or sped up by anything the Clippers were throwing at him.
I would say this is one of Jalen Pickett's great traits. Honestly, is that he's very poised. He's just a very poised player.
He had that layup in traffic, I remember specifically, where I think Kawhi was like coming over from the weak side or something, and he laid it right in. Then he had that late shot clock three. So
that three
I'd
is
agree.
tough, and he's hit all of those. Like from summer league to preseason to that shot, the like kind of step back.
Yep.
It doesn't look gorgeous. Like he does not have a beautiful. He honestly doesn't have a beautiful game. Like his game is very like, I don't know, gritty or whatever. And even his shot, it just whatever. But it goes in, and that was a tough shot, and he hit it. So I'm glad. Not rattled or sped up is a good. That's good praise.
And something Malone said after the game the other night was he liked his post defense. Because I think the Clippers tried to post him up a couple times, and he didn't give really any ground.
Yeah, he's strong, man.
Yeah, he's strong. Michael Porter Jr. also spoke at practice today. I asked him about playing with the second unit, and he said he likes playing with the bench. He said he enjoys it. He said, look, when Joker's out there, we run everything through him. When he's not on the court, gives me a chance to be a little bit more aggressive and look for my shot more.
He wants it. Fan base wants it. Yeah. Does Michael Malone want it?
No. Ideally, it's Jamal Murray. Because the reason why Jamal Murray is the stagger is because Michael Malone has a philosophy and a thought process that
solid.
Either Nikola Jokic or Jamal Murray has to be on the floor at all times. That's the way he thinks about it.
Most coaches think this way, by the way. They split up their stars. Not everyone, but most. And it's a good philosophy. Like, you really want to avoid those really bad minutes. And also, regular season-wise, Jokic and Murray is here. Jokic without Murray is only, like, right here. It's like those minutes are really good. Yeah. So if you can get Murray to try to raise that. Here's the one thing I'll say. Let's build... If Jalen Pickett is going to play... shooters are the best thing you can give Jalen Pickett because that gives you a system now, and he's really good at generating threes. That is his trade, is he generates good three-point shots. If you gave him Michael Porter as the stagger, that's a good guy to give because it creates more space.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, Jalen Pickett's best skill right now is, I think, creating open shots for others. And, having Michael Porter on the floor is ideal for that.
Could you play like a Pickett, Brown, Strother, Porter, Zeke lineup as your bench unit? I think you can.
I think you can,
because again, you're not running Pickett a whole lot of minutes. He's not playing regular minute. Like if you just played him in those minutes, would it work? Worth trying out, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like the Nuggets' whole philosophy with their bench is for the last couple of years has just been defense, defense, defense. Like we just need this group to defend, get some easy buckets in transition, and just hold the line until the starters get back. Oh, that's been their main philosophy, I feel like. Maybe not having Jamal Murray for this stretch, experimenting a little with the bench, maybe it makes a light go off in their head that's like, man, maybe if we put some more offense out there, it could help the defense too.
I just realized I built a lineup without Peyton, though. Man, this is tough. Tough to solve.
Yeah. Well, you threw Strother in there, and Strother didn't play last game.
But that's because he's a shooter. But if you took Strother out and put Watson in there, even with MPJ, you're still only one shooter. It's tough, man. It's tough.
It is tough. It is tough. Michael Porter Jr., Adam, loves the in-season tournament.
I love that. Fan. I love that about him.
Me too. And he says the Nuggets are trying to win this thing. He says it's a goal of ours to win it. And then he noted tomorrow night's another game that goes towards that. Tomorrow's a group play game. He said it's
first road group play game.
He said it's a big game for us. And then he was just kind of talking about the competitive nature with it. And he said, look, like we've been competing our own lives, our whole lives, the tournament format. You know, a lot of us have played in a lot of tournaments growing up. If you just think about the amount of tournaments you play in a summer on really good AAU teams, this probably feels or will feel a little like that. And he said, we're playing to win it.
I like that, man. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and do my full conspiracy. I think Jamal's trying to come back for the tournament finale against Houston.
I love that.
And if the Nuggets, if like Houston drops a game and Denver has a cushion, maybe he takes it a little more easy, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's a lot of money, man.
Well, to that point, Michael Porter said, look, the incentive is always nice. No matter how much money you have, $500,000 is nice. Especially for the young guys who are on their rookie contracts. We all have a collective goal to win, not really for the money, it's just competing. But they're definitely thinking about winning, and I think every team, I've seen a couple quotes come out about this. Damian Lillard said something about it, but there's going to be something where all the stars on all these different teams want to win it to get some of the lower roster guys paid.
Yeah.
$500,000, that's more than two-way contracts.
Yeah. Do they get some? So, like, would Colin Gillespie get $500,000 on this?
That's actually a good question.
Because, he's going to be sweating it out. Are you kidding me?
I would. Yeah. What's another $1.5 million? You know.
Yeah, to the NBA. Who cares?
The coaches get money.
That's gonna be coaching hard. Going to be coaching hard.
Yeah. Finally, we talked with Jalen Pickett as well. He said his focus right now, just coming into the rotation, he's trying to keep his body right, so he's always ready to go whenever his number is called. He's learning how to be a pro, learning his routine, when to get extra shots up, when to get extra work in, etc. And then he had some great stuff to say about what he's learned about Nikola Jokic so far as a Nugget. And he goes, look, he's just calling out every play that the other team's running, and then he calls out every read that we're going to make, every play we're going to make, where the defense is, where their players are going to be. And then he goes, now I see why he has 11, 12 assists, 3 steals. He's always in the right spots because he knows every play.
I love it, man. So I saw that Coach Gibson Piper, my guy, you put out a thing out there pointing out how Yoke is doing this. And it's like, look, it's not that hard. And I kind of laugh because he is right. But also, nobody's doing this. Like,
exactly.
Here's the thing is, the more, because I remember back in the day, there was the story on Rajon Rondo, and he was like, he knows all the Cavs plays. And I remember being like, that's crazy, as if it's football, and there's 1,000 plays that you have to memorize. The NBA honestly has like a dozen actions and a dozen entries. And you can disguise based on the combination of entry to action to how you set this up, then you go into that. So, for example, you could run punch action into flex action. And then you would set that up out of horns. That's 3 things. So set up, action, and that's a play. Whereas you could set it up in a different way and then flip the action. That's a different play. But for the most part, there's only so many things you would have to know. That being said, most players don't.
Yeah.
Half the players don't know their own plays.
So what the play you're talking about, end of the Clippers game, the Clippers come out of a timeout and they run this little action for Kawhi Leonard where he comes up the floor off a screen, gets the ball, and then goes to his right and tries to just create a shot. Jokic read the whole play. And I wrote a whole article about it after the game. You can read it on thednvr.com. But I asked Aaron Gordon in the locker room, and I was like, did you guys know this play was coming? Did you know how they were going to run it? And he goes, no, Joker just knew. And if you watched in real time before the Clippers inbounded the ball, Nikola Jokic is telling everybody what's going to happen. He was like, Aaron Gordon, this is how Kawhi Leonard's going to snake through the screen, and then he's going to go to this side of the floor. He was telling Michael Porter where to stand while he was guarding the inbounder, so he forced the pass to be made to Kawhi closer to half court. He called out exactly what was going to happen. And yeah, like, it's a common play. It's a pretty basic play, but I guarantee you that play works against teams because guys don't know how to defend it.
Yeah, 100%. And it's impressive. Honestly, he did this earlier in the year, too, where he's looking, and you could see him just studying where everybody's lined up, and he kind of gives one of the furs his brow for a second. Then he's like, oh, okay. And he's telling Michael Porter it's coming over the top or whatever. Like, I honestly think Yoke's always been good at this, but has taken it to a new level.
I agree.
Over the last year or so. And I just feel like there's got to be an intimidation factor, too, when you're a team and some guy's like, oh, here's what they're running. And you're like, yeah.
I asked Nikola about it after the game, too, and he said they run a similar play for Norman Powell. Which is just an awesome flex.
Yoke's entering. I'm telling you, Yoke's in his Wilt Chamberlain phase right now. I love it. All right.
Yeah. Finally, from Jalen, I asked him about the feedback he's gotten from coaches. He said they just want me to continue to play great defense and try to lower my turnovers. I had 2 turnovers against the Clippers. I can't come in and we don't get the shots that we want. And then he also was talking about how Jamal's been really helping him behind the scenes with reads, pick and roll stuff, offense. He's really been coaching him up. And that he loved going against Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Malone said it was a tough matchup to make your debut against, but he loved it because he said he just wants to go out there and play against the best.
I love it, man. And a little confidence boost from playing well against those guys, you know? I mean, a big thing for these young guys is confidence. shooters and point guards or whatever. And I've kept saying Pickett to me needs to play more free. You could tell he's so nervous of turning the ball over. And the more you play at a high level, the more pressure comes off of you where you're not as worried. Like right now, if Jalen Pickett has a turnover in the first stint, like the weight of the world's on him. Mm-hmm. If he goes a couple games where turnovers aren't an issue and he has a game where he does have bad turnovers, it's like, all right, I had a bad one, and you don't feel like you're losing your spot or whatever. So he needs to keep doing what he's been doing. He needs to pick it up even more. He can't have too many like the second half. He needs to have a couple more like the first half. And I think he'll get more aggressive, which is what this team kind of needs. Is they need him not turning it over, but being aggressive enough to create in the offense. Yeah. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, our big question today, just how good are the Denver Nuggets? Are they actually the best team in the NBA right now? Do we feel comfortable saying that with our chest or not? We'll talk about that on the other side.
Guys, Kind Love was one of the first dispensaries in Colorado. They were established in 2010. They're known for cultivating some of the highest quality cannabis in the state. Authentic genetics, patient grow techniques, one of the highest quality brands in Colorado as well. They also launched a game-changing new product recently known as Turbo Core, 100 milligram stick that looks like a toothpick in a full spectrum cannabis concentrate designed with a pointed tip so you can easily slide it into any joint, blunt, or cigarette instantly. You can visit one of the Kind Love stores in Cherry Creek. Use the code DNVR, of course. Get 25% off all Kind Love flower pre-rolls in their Turbo joint line. You can also visit their website, kindlove.com. Use the code DNVR for online ordering and their full extensive menu.
Also presented by Game Time. You guys know the hottest ticket in Denver once again, Harrison. Do you know what it is? This November. It's the Denver Broncos. They're back, baby.
They are back.
They are so back. Well, they might be back. Vikings at Broncos coming up this weekend. Tickets at $171, which for a Broncos game, really good. They win that one, man. That place... There are these like different things that happen in sports. When you were dead and you come back to life, that's an all-timer.
Well, especially if you win 4 in a row to get back to life.
I'm saying right now, Denver has come back to life with 3, but that's on the road, right? You're out by Niagara Falls playing. If you come home and you get this win now to get back to 500, that place is going to be rocking.
Dude, nobody's going to be covering the Nuggets at that point.
We're going to have them all to ourselves again. It's going to be great. Vikings at Broncos 171. If you do want to look at Nuggets tickets, they're on the road for a couple weeks here, or for a week and a half. Rockets at Nuggets, $38. Pretty good deal right now. That one, it's kind of a little rivalry.
In-season. Oh, no, not the in-season tournament.
Actually, here's how I'll sell it. $38. Jeff Green's ring night.
In-season tournament.
No, that one's not. It's on the road.
They've already played the Rockets in the in-season tournament.
No, they haven't. They played them on the road in a regular game. Then they play them on the road for an in-season tournament game. Then they play them again in Denver. They play them 3 times in like 3 weeks. It's very weird.
You're right.
But it is Jeff Green ring night. So hop on the Game Time app. $38 if you want to come and cheer on Jeff Green.
And he is definitely getting a ring.
He's getting a ring.
I can't confirm. We actually got a mailbag question about who's getting a ring, and I'll tell you after the next segment.
Man, the king of teas over here.
Jeff Green is getting a ring.
So there you go. Check them out. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use promo code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create the account and redeem the code DNVR for $20 off. All right. So this is a funny year so far. It's kind of a funny season because it feels like Michael Porter's in a slump. Jamal Murray's out. The bench looks like a disaster these last few games. There's some skies falling. But the number one team in the NBA, not the Western Conference, in the entire NBA, is the Denver Nuggets. They are 9-2. And who have they lost to? Minnesota, who's very good, especially at home. They've been giant killers this year. And the Houston Rockets, the surprise team of the year. So the Nuggets don't have a bad loss under their belt. They have 2, teams that you would kind of expect. And they have some good wins under their belt. So I'm sitting here looking at this going 9-2. How good are they? Are we underselling, and are we even forgetting what they looked like 2 weeks ago to start the year when everyone was healthy, and they weren't just beating teams, they were demoralizing them?
To me, I still consider the Nuggets at the level that, like I was talking about them before Jamal Murray went out, which is they're still in a tier by themselves, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're still in tier 1, and then in that next tier, You've got teams like the Celtics. I don't even know if anybody else is in that tier 2. Maybe Minnesota right now.
Maybe the 76ers?
Maybe the 76ers. But I still think the Nuggets are in a tier of their own.
Yeah.
They have the best player in the NBA who I feel like is putting more and more of a gap between him and the second best player in the league by the game.
I mean...
That's what it feels like to me.
I mean, you say that, but, I'm watching Get Up this morning, as I always do. I'm always watching Get Up. You know that.
I know,
tuned in from start to finish. I'm watching it. Yeah, I'm locked in, man. I got to watch Get Up.
You got to get that Jay Williams
And I
segment
see Jay Williams, and he's asked about the MVP race. I love the MVP race. Every year, I'm telling you, here's what happens with the MVP race. Every year...
When's the straw poll coming out?
Nobody wants to be the first analyst to talk about the MVP. They're all worried, like, is it too early? The answer is always yes, but then someone finally breaks the seal. So we have it. MVP. We're already ready to talk about it. Not even mentioned is Jokic. It's Jason Tatum and Kevin Durant.
And the second best player on the Suns.
Kevin Durant. So anyway, I say all that to say.
Aren't the Suns like 500?
They haven't been great. It's because they were missing Devin Booker. They had all they had was their MVP.
Devin Booker is like so clearly the Suns' best player. I don't know how people don't see that. He's amazing. But yes, there's a widening gap, I feel, between the best player and the second best player in the league. Nikola Jokic right now is piecing together. It's still a little early, but he's piecing together what looks like it could be one of the greatest seasons in NBA history, and he's already got a couple of those to his name over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
he's leveled up in so many areas this season, and that's been apparent already.
By the way, real quick, Jokic currently has the best box plus minus. It's early; these numbers will go up and down. The best box plus minus he's had in his career. Yeah. He's got the best win shares per 48, best win shares. Best PER of his career. So the advanced metrics appear.
Well, he's averaging 30 points per game, Adam. He's almost averaging a 30-point triple-double. And he's also leading the league in rebounds at 14 a game.
So, oh man, I didn't even see that. 13.9 a game. You're right. He's at career high rebounds. His assists are down though, 8.4.
Yeah, it's because of that Michael Porter Jr. slump.
Yeah, that he's in. So 30 points, 14 rebounds, 8.5 assists is pretty wild. And then again, by the way, if only he could make a three, he would be having the most efficient career. He's shooting even his 2-point percentage. Oh, yeah, this last game really killed his percentages.
I know. But, yes, the Nuggets are clearly the best team in the league. But for the casual NBA fan that's an NBA analyst that's already used up a lot of the hits with the Nuggets, they don't have Bruce Brown anymore. The bench sucks. Yeah, Nikola Jokic can't play defense.
They lost Bruce Brown.
Yeah. Once you've used up all of those things, you actually have to watch the Nuggets to learn more about them. Yeah. And we know that just the casual analyst isn't going to be watching them. So I feel like for those reasons, they're still under the radar.
I used to say that the Nuggets were the Pacers, of the West. They might be the Miami Heat, who are 7-4, but you wouldn't know it. Like,
right.
Nobody talks about the Miami Heat, and here they are as the hottest team in the NBA currently, won 6 in a row. And I do feel like it's the same with Denver. And why is the Miami Heat that way? Because it never looks the part. And Denver, when they had Murray, was looking the part. Yeah. But the last couple games, it doesn't. They keep winning. I mentioned this on the postgame show the other day, but in my mentions during the Nuggets game, I think 3 games ago, someone's like, get ready to start losing now that Murray's out. Team's not going to win much till Murray gets back. They're 3-1. They have 1 loss by 3 points on the road to one of the best teams so far out the gate.
Right.
And it's like, man, I just think that you have to buckle up and expect the Nuggets to win ugly until Murray gets back. And they'll probably drop, they're 2-2 on the road. This is going to be a big test. They played 7 home games, 4 road games. They're 2-2 on the road. So they need to be better than 500 now going out on the road to kind of stay at the top of the West. But I just think they're going to win ugly. I think they're going to go play these teams like New Orleans and Orlando, and we're going to be like, man, Nuggets don't look right. Sneak out a 2-point win.
Right. I agree. I think it's actually going to be a really good thing for them in the long run.
This rough patch?
Just having to learn how to play without Jamal Murray, not because Jamal Murray's not going to be a massive factor in the playoffs, but you get a chance to learn about the rest of your roster. You get a chance to see what a Colin Gillespie or a Jalen Pickett can give you. So I think it can be a enlightening stretch from that standpoint.
The Nuggets also have a plus 8.2 differential right now. That's raw differential, which means on average they're winning by 8.2 points, which is funny because that's the second highest in the NBA. Only the Boston Celtics have a higher at plus 13.4. Everybody else is below them. So there's the sense that they're winning ugly, that they haven't necessarily looked impressive, but they actually are winning the second biggest margin. So I do think that there's this like cognitive dissonance with the Nuggets. I also understand where it comes from. But the last thing I'll say on it is, to me, they are the team they look like at the start of the year when they had Jamal Murray. And by the way, Michael Porter has been in a little slump, and Jamal Murray wasn't scoring like gangbusters.
Yeah.
But they're still clowning teams. They are that team, but so far it's been taken from them. And I will say, the regular season, every year this happens, Denver will only be full strength in little pockets throughout the year.
Yep.
There's almost always one player that's dealing with something. It's usually nothing major. It's usually, knock on wood, only as major as whatever Murray's going through right now. But on average, throughout the course of the middle portion of the year, somebody has a rolled ankle or this or that, and it's just like down one guy. So
we got a pocket of that at the very beginning.
At the very beginning, we got it.
And
kind of. Michael Porter had a bum ankle that he played through.
Yeah. But they pretty much blew out the Lakers on opening night. They blew out the Thunder. They blew out the Mavs. They blew out the Bulls.
Yeah.
It was like 4 blowouts, 10, 15-point wins in their first, 6 games.
So here are the teams that I think are the good ones so far. Denver and Boston, to me, look like the class of each conference. Boston looks really good. I thought that Philadelphia looked really good. The Kelly Oubre injury hurts them just because depth is very important for them, and he provides something they don't. But I think that Philadelphia has looked surprisingly good. The thing with them is the same question. Like Phillies, I'm so glad we're not Philadelphia because they're in that position where nothing they can do in the regular season is really going to buy them great. It's like it's good that for them that they look good, but we'll always be like, yeah, but we'll wait, we'll see. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because we kind of lived it.
Yeah, we lived it, of course. Of course. They're in that hell right now. But they look really good. I mean,
Yes,
they honestly have
do.
impressed me.
They do.
I think the Timberwolves look good, although they looked terrible against the Suns last night. They were on the second night of a back-to-back, and they looked like just a team last night.
They had back-to-back legs.
The Houston Rockets kind of look good. The teams, to me, people got mad because I put Dallas. Oh, Sacramento, by the way, I think looks really good. They were missing De'Aaron Fox, and De'Aaron Fox to me is their Jokic. It's not Sabonis. It's Fox is the one that kind of makes everything go there. They've had him back the last 2 games, and they've had blowout wins, and they just look like a team that knows who and what they are and how to do their thing. So those are the teams to me that stand out. Dallas, the Pacers, the Bucks, those are teams to me that look explosive, I would say. But they don't, at this moment, look like complete teams. They just look like teams that sometimes hit 23 three-pointers.
Yeah.
And sometimes don't. And when they don't, they look terrible. And when they do, they look awesome.
Well, every Pacers game is just like 140 to 130.
Yeah. And then the Phoenix Suns last night looked gangbusters against the Minnesota Timberwolves because they got Devin Booker back, who... Dude, you're so right about this. The Phoenix Suns, I'm a Suns hater, so this is hard for me to like honestly quantify him, but Kevin Durant, whatever. Devin Booker's really good. And when you bring him back, they had the best offensive rating of the season last year. I think it was like 165 or something. It was something ridiculous against Minnesota, who's a great defense. But we've only seen like 2 games of that because Devin Booker, I think, has only played in 3.
Yeah.
One of those he was half injured for. He tried to play and couldn't. So that's why I don't tier them yet, just because we haven't seen one game.
Absolutely.
Everybody else to me, like the teams I'm almost writing off. The Lakers, if they don't make a trade, I just think the Lakers kind of suck. The Warriors, the Warriors are in like turmoil. I think the Warriors, when everything breaks right for them, is still super scary. But what do you make of that Draymond situation? Does it? Let me phrase it this way. Does it kind of feel like Draymond last year punched Jordan Poole and this year choked Rudy Gobert? Does it kind of feel like
what's he going to do next?
This is the end of the empire. Like he's lashing out because there's like this team is just not, something's off. And he's now just going into his worst, most volatile self. No control over himself.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is just like you can tell his skill as an individual player is waning.
Yeah.
And he's seeing the prime of his career like slip away from him, and he's trying to maybe make up for it in different ways.
That's what I know. It sounds funny, but that's honestly how I assess it.
Yeah, and they're just too old and too small.
Then I look at the Miami Heat and I go, that's just it. I mean, Denver, we know what Miami Heat are. They're really good. They're underrated. They're underappreciated, and Denver will beat them in 5 if they somehow come out of the East again. So that's it. I look at that and I go, Denver has not necessarily impressed, but guess what? Top of the class. Top of the class.
I mean, what do you really think of Minnesota?
I honestly think they're a great defense and a great matchup for Denver. I think Minnesota's great. Are they mature? I don't think they're very dynamic on offense.
They're not.
And that's their problem. But defensively, I think they're going to be the top defense this year.
Yeah.
And that alone makes you a contender. Like if you're the number one offense or number one defense, you're a contender in some form or fashion. I just think that they're flawed. But look, man, I think they're legit, and they have a whole year to figure out a little more layers to their offense. I don't know if they will, but they at least have a year to do that. And their defensive floor is like top 5.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they're the second best team in the league, but they're the best matchup for Denver.
They're
the toughest matchup for Denver, and I'm actually not sure if it's close.
I'll tell you what, I do think Sacramento, though, I predict that Sacramento will climb the standings in the coming weeks. I just think that they're a really good regular season team. Playoffs, they're going to have similar questions as they've always had, although I do think they're all get a little bit older. Keegan Murray, De'Aaron Fox, they all get more experience from what they did and probably are ready to win a round or two. But to me, they're a really good regular season team that is I think they're going to go on a run now.
Yeah, I'd agree.
All right, let's take a break. On the other side, mailbag questions that span the gamut. Some really good ones about what we've learned about the rookies that I'm looking forward to getting to.
Breckenridge Brewery is the official beer of DNVR. Make sure to pick up some Broncos Country Pale Ale, because, of course, it's still Broncos season. We got all your favorites down here at the DNVR bar. If you're local, if you're coming to town, if you're visiting, stop in. Avalanche Amber. It's that type of season. Broncos Country Pale Ale, of course. Juice Drop IPA. Good Company Hard Seltzers if you like seltzers. Tons of Breck Brew on tap.
Or Christmas Ale. You can get a whole pony keg for yourself.
You can, and I will drink that this Christmas by myself on this show. It's still sitting back there. It's propping up that plant behind me.
You're right, it actually is.
Don't worry, I've noticed it.
There's no way. Oh, man, we got to make you drink this year.
I'm telling you, I can drink that whole keg by myself in a night.
No, you can't, because that's like 11% alcohol. The Christmas Ale is like really strong.
11%?
It's a lot, man.
Okay, if it's 11%, I can't do it.
The volume of it you could drink.
I was assuming it was a regular Breck Brew.
I think Christmas Ale is like...
Can we get a fact check on that?
Fact check this for me, Alyssa.
What is the alcohol content of the Breck Brew Christmas Ale?
I drank one time like a year ago or 2 years ago. I drank one on the show. I think I drank 2, and I was like hammered. And I was like, crap, how did I get so drunk?
I was just assuming it was a normal Breck Brew, which is like 5-6%.
I'm pretty sure it was that one or another Christmassy one that I had, and I was like, I am hammered drunk right now.
Anyways, you can get Breck Brew, your local liquor store, grocery store. If you don't know where to get it, check out the Breck Brew beer locator. Type in your zip code, shows you where to get Breckenridge Brewery.
I earlier said that we were the Jokic and Gordon. I was wrong. We're really the Backus and Schenker.
Yes, we are.
Because you know what we do? We win for Colorado families. Actually, that's what they do. Backus and Schenker helps you win. If you were injured in Colorado for more than 25 years, they've been working on these cases, and they have that policy. It's free until they win money in your case. No upfront fee to speak about your case, no upfront fee while they work on your case, and no fee at all unless they win your case and win money for you. Backus and Schenker has won over $1 billion for their clients. Now with even more locations serving all of Colorado, including neighborhood offices in Denver, Aurora, Inglewood, and Fort Collins. You know what? If I were Rudy Gobert, Backus and Schenker, man, I'd be like, look, man, I got to press charges on this. That was an assault I saw. Wouldn't let him go.
I cannot believe he only got 5 gigs for that.
Backus and Schenker would have gotten him some help. They help if your injury cases when you weren't at fault, car accidents, motorcycles, rideshare, pedestrians, trucks. I was going to make a joke here about Kelly Oubre could call. That would have been in bad taste. We could even help you if you're injured at work. He actually might need to. Call them at 222-2222. Find out if you have a case for free. Backus and Schenker wins. What'd you find out, Alyssa? It's only 7.1. All right, okay. It's still a little bit strong.
That's high, but maybe not too high.
Harrison might be sent home from the company Christmas party if he drinks that entire peg. We might have to get him an Uber. All right, let's get into the mailbag here. My first question we got comes from the Moach Union Executive Board President. I didn't know that person was on.
My guy.
I didn't know they were on Twitter. The last time MPJ shot this poorly was the 9 games he played in the 21-22 season, during which it turned out he was injured. Any chance he's dealing with an injury now, and we just don't know about it?
Well, he is injured. His ankle's not 100% yet.
Still?
I don't think it's 100% yet.
Oh.
De'Aaron Fox, in his post-game interview last night, he's been back a couple games from his ankle injury. And he said, after they beat the Lakers last night, he said, yeah, I just knew that, like, sitting on the sideline, that wasn't going to get my ankle better. It's just going to be bothering me for, a couple months. I just got to play through it.
A couple months?
Michael Porter Jr. says he had a grade 3 ankle sprain.
That would be insane.
That is a very serious ankle injury. And he has said how at the beginning of the season, he probably was at 50%. And then I think a couple weeks ago, he said 75%. So I do not think he's back at 100% quite yet. And I agree with Moach Union president there that when he's been in slumps, it has been because of injuries. And I think the leading reason why he's not shooting it as well as he usually does is because his ankle's still bothering him.
I hope that, look, I think he's going to break out of this slump very soon. I would say, again, we don't know. It's entirely possible. I think shooting is so much about confidence and momentum, and I just think that the momentum was squashed for him in the preseason and that he hasn't quite caught a rhythm just yet. But I think it's coming. I honestly just think it takes a couple games to string it together. He's been playing great despite it. That's the thing, is he is actually shooting very well inside the three-point line, getting to the rim a lot more, adding more layers to his game, guarding really well. To me, it's just the three-point part has been off, but I think the floodgates open at some point. And
I think they do too.
And maybe it's on this road trip,
Yeah. But, it is true that whenever he's been in a slump, it has always been because of some injury.
But I think most people are worried about the back. I don't think it's the back.
I don't think it's not the back. If it's anything, it's the ankle.
King of the chat, Ray says, haven't seen Ray in forever, man.
He was here the night where you were at the game.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he watched the post-game show right there.
Ray Vaughn, short of meaningful rotation or roster changes, what are the small things guys coming off of the bench can do to be more effective on offense? And then he says, for example, I think Zeke could improve on his screen setting. I
actually agree with that. He does leave a little early on his screens. He's excited to roll to the rim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go. I think Zeke can pop more, and especially if you're going to play with Jalen Pickett, I think there's a pick. Jalen Pickett's very good at delivering the pop pass.
Yeah.
And I think that, with Colin diving maybe made more sense, with Reggie diving, I think with Pickett popping makes more sense, and I'm curious to see if the Nuggets make that adjustment.
Mm-hmm. I want to see P. Watt be a little more active on the offensive end of the floor. He's doing a lot of standing around, I feel like, these last couple of games. And, that second unit, I just don't think is going to be producing a lot of great offense. If everybody's standing around and, your turn, my turn, like ISO here, Julian Strother shot. If Peyton Watson can be cutting to the rim more, move around the defense that way, I think that could open up some more things.
I'll even go another one for him. Offensive glass.
Yeah.
He has that super high reach, really long arms, really great athleticism. He's a pogo stick. I think that he can play the corner to the short corner. When you're the corner guy, I don't like when he's just spotting up there. I think he can see the moments where it's time to crash from the corners, which is a great place to crash from, and grab a couple offensive rebounds, put backs, just be really aggressive. Mimic a Jared Vanderbilt. Early at the beginning of the year, I think it was David Adelman was talking about how he needs to study Aaron Gordon because Aaron Gordon plays the dunker spot so well. I think that Peyton Watson can mix up between playing the corners and playing the dunkers because I think there is a role for him to be carved out from that spot.
I agree.
There's no surprise we need to see Christian Brown become more confident with his three-point shot.
I did love how he attacked the basket last game, though, especially in transition. People don't realize the amount of easy buckets you can get in transition just by catching defenses just jogging back.
Yeah.
Like Christian Braun had that one where he just went up the left side of the floor, drove right by. Might have been Norman Powell, but there was just nobody at the basket. Yeah. And it was like a regular semi-transition possession.
This one comes from Spencer Smith, DNVR's own. He says, is Pickett fully entrenched at bench point guard until Jamal is back? Do you think he impressed Moch enough?
I don't think he's fully entrenched.
Me neither.
It was just one game.
No chance.
I do think Michael Malone was happy with how he played, though. I think the praise he's given him has been genuine. But he's got to keep doing it. I think he can win that job if he keeps playing like he did the other night. He looked great the other night, I thought. Just like altogether, man, he looked better than I thought he would. He looked confident. He looked poised, as Michael Malone said. I was very impressed with Jalen Pickett's first rotation minutes. You know, I think he's got the job now. And if Denver keeps winning and if he keeps playing like he did the other night, I think he can keep it.
So it's interesting to think about matchups, you know, like he was went up against the Clippers. They're big, strong, and I think he's big, strong. Like it almost is a good matchup for him because I think that's the type of defense he's really prepared to play. This next matchup, they have a weird lineup without their point guards are all injured, you know, Alvarado and CJ McCollum. So they play Jordan Hawkins off the bench, who is like a quick shooter, you know, really like
kind of a Strother.
Kind of a Strother, and just that he catches and goes. And I don't like Pickett's one of his shortcomings that he'll never overcome is that his closeout game is not great because he's so little and he's not necessarily quick or springy.
Yeah.
And then you got Dyson Daniels, who's long and rangy. So I'm curious, this is a completely different type of matchup that he'll be facing. And then, of course, you've got my guy, Matt Ryan, maybe that might match up for him.
How are you stealing Matt Ryan from me? How?
Matt Ryan's my guy.
How are you doing? You do this with every guy.
Did you not see the interview?
I was standing right there for him. I was the original Matt Ryan guy.
You should have been in the interview, man. You should have been standing a little closer. We saw you in the background, you know, like you were far away.
How are you doing this?
It's like when you get up from the couch and someone takes the spot.
But do you think Jalen Pickett played just because of the matchup?
No.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is he looked good in that matchup, and now it's a whole new challenge. Like this next game will be completely different for him.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm saying. And I'm with you. I don't think that he's the guy. What I should say is I think he could lose this very easily. He might even be able to lose it in one game. Like if you come out and have a bad game Friday, I would not be surprised if he loses the spot or whatever.
That wouldn't be great for his confidence.
It wouldn't be great for his it wouldn't be great for anyone. I hope he gets a little bit more of a long leash. But at the same time, I'm with Michael Malone. He was in a tough spot coming into that game. Tournament game.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Like it feels like an important game, right? You don't want to be your first game ever and you cost everybody on the team $500,000. You know what I mean? Think about that. Like your first game in the NBA, and it's like, hey, if you screw this up, everyone here loses $500,000. So he had pressure on. He knew that he needed to go out there and perform, and that was a lot. So I actually am with Malone in that the most impressive thing wasn't the details; it was just that he handled the pressure.
I agree.
So I think he gets a shot, and I hope he plays well, man, because I love watching him play. I'm telling you, half of my Pickett love is just we all have a mold we like. He plays a style that if it works and the Nuggets kind of like absorb it into who they are, the Nuggets are going to be almost as fun with their bench as they will be with their starters. And I've never thought that before. So
he is your guy, though. You can have him.
I'm taking Pickett, man.
You've already taken him.
Dude, I'm at the front of the Pickett line.
You are. You've always been there. You were the first
in line.
Sign. Yeah.
You know, and I've got the chance going. Let's take our final break. On the other side, some more great questions about the second unit.
Guys, make sure to check out DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings Sportsbook, they got some great deals going on for the NBA season. In the NBA, the game can change in an instant, no matter how the action unfolds. You know, DraftKings Sportsbook has your back. This week, new customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets just for betting $5 on basketball. Win or lose, you get an instant dub. Make sure to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code DNVR. New customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. So, Nuggets at Pelicans coming up. Drop $5 on that game if you're a new user. boom, you get $150 in bonus bets just for betting those $5. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In West Virginia, visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. Please play responsibly. In Connecticut, help is available for problems with gambling. Call 888-789-777. Visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, must be 21 or older in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources, eligibility, and deposit restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms.
We have a pick of the week.
We do have a pick of the week.
I'm going to tell you right now, -4. Nuggets, Pelicans, it's -4. Here's where I would go, Harrison, if I were you. I would take the +4 for the Pelicans and then hedge it with the Nuggets money line, because I think the Nuggets, as I said, they're going to win all these games by 1 or 2 points, and it's going to feel like, oh, they eked it out. So I kind of like the Nuggets to thread the needle here.
It is a tournament game.
Oh, those come down to the wire.
You know, both teams are going to be acting up for that. I think I might agree with you. On the road, first game on the road, first game of a long road trip. No Jamal Murray. We haven't seen Michael Porter break out of his slump yet. I'm with you. You
want to know another one here? You've got Houston Rockets, another tournament game at Clippers. Clippers still haven't won. They get to go home, and they think, all right, well, soon we're going to win. Rockets might play spoiler.
Dude, is that tonight?
That's tomorrow night.
I can't wait for that game. My favorite activities are watching the Nuggets win and watching the Clippers lose.
There you go. All right. Also want to tell you guys about Shady Rays. You guys know them. They've been a partner of ours. Yes, it's winter out, but winter driving is actually the toughest because the sun sits so low on the horizon. All day I'm worried about the sun in my eyes. Luckily for me, I actually have, this is true, I have 2 pairs of Shady Rays. One is in the center console of my car, and one is in my backpack because I'll forget them every day if I don't remember. So instead, I have them, and every time I pull out of my driveway, I'm like, the sun. Reach in and put them on. It's actually a phenomenal feature. Check them out. You guys can get those ones that are for good bass fishing. You can get them for ski goggles, or you can get, like me, aviators.
You're an aviators guy.
I'm an aviator. Dude, I look so good in them.
You are honestly a true aviators guy. I've never actually seen you in any other type of sunglass.
I'm telling you, I feel like I look good in aviators. You know what I mean? I never feel like I look good, but then I put the aviators on, and I feel like I look awesome. Go to ShadyRays.com. Use promo code DNVR, 50% off of 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades that are rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. All right, let's wrap up with a couple more questions here from the mailbag. Shelby asks us, obviously, we all want Jamal to be healthy and be all NBA. Obviously. But with his injury preventing that from happening, do you think it'll help keep the team together or possibly aid in getting different bench players? So what she's asking here is, if he would have made all NBA, this team would have been enormously expensive. Do you think there's a silver lining? Not that we should ever root against players getting their bag, but now that it looks like he won't get the Supermax, do you think it's more likely that the Nuggets will be able to build good teams into the future?
I think it can definitely help. Yeah, absolutely. Look, the Nuggets aren't going to have a lot of room to work with financially going forward if he makes all NBA or if he doesn't. But I think they will have a little more room around the edges to work with if he doesn't. And I don't know about you, but I kind of just like the narrative of Nikola Jokic never playing with an all-star or never playing with anybody who's made all-NBA.
I think this question, it's like weird because this puts you in the very inhumane position of like making these guys just numbers and whatever. But the truth is, I honestly think the fact that Murray is almost certainly not going to be all-NBA ups the Nuggets' title odds quite a bit in the long term. Like you look at this and go, Denver probably is now going to have a very affordable roster. I mean, it's going to be expensive, repeater tax and this or that, but they're not going to be in that supermax range, a double supermax range. And I just think it's going to make, I think it's going to make this team. There's probably these fringe moves that if you could play out 2 scenarios, one where Murray gets the supermax and one where he doesn't, you probably would see 2, 3, 4 years from now, Denver having just marginally worse surrounding talent.
I agree.
And so now I think they'll have better talent, and I think it actually helps. So. Even though Josh Kroenke sat in this very chair and said, it doesn't matter. We'll pay whatever it takes to keep this thing going.
And they would. And obviously they would give him the supermax, and like that'd be fine. But it would have some ramifications down the line.
Jackson Overstreet says, when it comes to the young guys, P-Watt, CB, Zeke, the rookies, has there been any surprises in their play so far that you weren't expecting after preseason? Are you seeing more than you thought you would from any of them or any less?
No. I think I'm seeing actually, I mean,
exactly what
Christian
you thought.
Brown has been a disappointment so far. I had very high expectations for him coming into year 2. I thought he looked great the other night against the Clippers, so maybe he's ascending again. Peyton Watson, Zeke, Najee have been about what I expected them to be. So no real surprises with those guys.
Strother to me is the big one because he has more to his offensive game than I thought. So it's not just the shooting. I think he moves well off ball, reads the court. And then even, I know this is funny to say because we knew his height, but seeing him out on the court, he just looks big. Like sometimes guys are a certain height, you see him, you're like, yeah. He looks big to me. And so that, to me, Strother has shown more. Christian Brown, to your point, has shown less. And I'm going to say that Peyton Watson has made fewer mistakes than I expected. Okay. He still makes them, but I kind of expected Peyton Watson to be way more lost than he's been. And I just don't think he's been, I mean, he's looked like a rookie, but he hasn't looked like a bad rookie.
He's done a great job of just sticking to his role, not trying to do too much.
Yeah. And then with Jalen Pickett, we haven't quite seen enough.
But again, Pickett, about what I expected.
Yeah, so far. I'm very I mean, again, with me, I'm not ready.
Colin, too.
Everybody's in my mentions like, Adam, are you, like, how do you feel about being right on Pickett? I'm like, guys, we've seen one game, and I think he's been good, but he is by no means, like, over the hump. Yeah. There's a lot of question marks I still have with Jalen Pickett, and I hope he checks all of those over the coming weeks. Kayla Wilby asks, which Nugget gets the first scuffle of the year and against who?
When do they play the Warriors again?
You think it would be them, huh?
No.
Man, this is a good one. Who's most likely to get in a kerfuffle?
I mean, I'm trying to think of who has in the past. Like AG has gone like chest to chest with Westbrook before, right?
Well, we all remember Zach Collins and Michael Porter. We all remember Christian Brown and
Zach Collins,
Slow-mo.
Michael Porter is a fight made for the NBA in 2023.
It's so true. The Nuggets don't really have that kind of guys, I don't feel. I think Christian Brown maybe gets under someone's skin.
I feel like Nikola Jokic is just like so above everything now where he just wouldn't even be interested in that.
You think? I don't know. He has a meanness to him, dude. I feel like he's like I would not be. I think Jokic might be the guy.
You think it's Jokic?
I just could see it being him.
I think it's Aaron Gordon stepping in for Jokic.
Okay.
Stepping in to
actually
potentially fight somebody for Jokic.
Here's what it is. There will be a kerfuffle in the in-season tournament.
Well, there already has been. But with the Nuggets, you're saying.
In the actual tournament. No, in the Las Vegas
tournament. In the
tournament.
knockout round.
So I kind of want to ask that one. We have a couple more questions, but I'm going to skip them and just go to this one. The in-season tournament now.
You got to get to the question about the rings, though.
All right, the ring. Somebody asked if Steve Hess is getting a ring. I don't think so. He's not part of the team.
He is.
He gets a ring?
Steve Hess gets a ring.
Oh, that's incredible. All right.
So the Nuggets are giving rings to select members of the organization that like committed their livelihood to the team for a long time.
That's awesome. That's
Steve Hess
really cool.
Is getting a ring.
Okay.
There are some other people within the organization who I won't name that are getting rings.
Okay.
That aren't like they might not be with the team.
They're back end people. Yeah. That's cool. Good
Bones
job,
Highland
Cronkies.
obviously did not get a ring.
Right.
It's a team decision. You know what players get them. What
Wait.
Don't.
Am I getting a ring?
You are not.
Oh crap!
You're not. But Jeff Green obviously getting a ring. Thomas Bryant, he's getting a ring. Davon Reed is getting a ring.
I love it. Well, Thomas Bryant was on the team, so I guess you could,
right.
You'd have to.
He was on the team.
Funny if they were like, "Sorry, man."
You got to ship Davon Reed's ring to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Or Lithuania. Where is he playing?
I don't know. I don't know if it's Ukraine.
Slovenia?
I don't know if it's Ukraine. All right. Well, there you go. That's a good reporting here for Wind. Last thing I wanted to get to here was, here's the thing, man. We've all liked this in-season tournament, and it's shaping up, but One of the questions I've heard a concern about the in-season tournament is playoff basketball. It's actually Doc Rivers who brought this up. Playoff basketball is different than regular season. You need to be in better shape. What does Jamal say? Oh, I'll be in shape by the time April comes around. That's when I'll be ready for the playoffs at then. Guys work their way into it because you go harder, you jump higher, you run faster. Well, what do we make of this December one? And also, guys play longer. So Harrison, all right, quarterfinal game. How hard are guys going? How many minutes are they playing? Like, is it treated like a regular season game, even though we know it has more weight to it? Or is it treated like, you're playing 40 tonight?
Once you get to the knockout round and the semifinal and final games?
Quarterfinal. Quarterfinal's a knockout round.
I absolutely think you're going to see guys' minutes upped. I think you're going to see a different feel. I think it's going to feel like a playoff game. It's going to have a playoff intensity. Once you get to the knockout, you're going to want to win the whole thing. You're absolutely going to want to.
You got to fly to Vegas. You got to go to Vegas. You might as well. Like, you're invested. You're pot committed.
Yeah. You're going to see a different intensity than what we've seen so far. Guys are going to play hard. Guys are going to want it. I bet we do see some kerfuffles.
Yeah. Because you're not mentally ready for playoff basketball where you're like, it's going to be intense. But then that intensity naturally arrives, and it's like all of a sudden you're pissed at each other. Yeah. I honestly think it's part of why there have been fights this week during the in-season tournament.
Agree. Yes.
The intensity's a little higher, and guys are like not ready for it mentally. Here's the other thing, and this comes from Bill Simmons, and I think it was a great point. The All-Star Game used to be a who's who event. If you made it to the All-Star Game, it was a big deal, not for the game itself, but because you were part of the it crowd. Well, let's look at who right now is leading their pools. The Indiana Pacers, one of the feel-good stories, but they have a great shot now to win it. 76ers, man, losing that one. Should have been them. The Miami Heat and the Milwaukee Bucks undefeated. One of those two teams coming out of pool play almost certainly. Premier teams. Boston Celtics, premier team. The Lakers currently are 2-0 in their pool play. Premier team. Denver Nuggets, premier team. Timberwolves and Sacramento Kings, premier teams. I look at this and I go, Bill Simmons might be right. The in-season tournament might be the thing that if you don't make it to that and all the media's out there and it becomes this big deal and, it's LeBron and Jokic and Giannis and, all the big names in the league are there, and then you're on the outside, it might feel kind of like, oh, man, like that has replaced the All-Star Game in terms of prestige weekend in the middle of the NBA, and I just think that will make these games be, like, unbelievable.
There's going to be so much attention, and those semifinal and final games in Vegas, man, that is going to be appointment viewing.
Yeah.
Those are going to be massive. They're going to feel huge.
Yeah.
So, man, that's interesting. I kind of love it because, from the Nikola Jokic school of basketball, we don't really care about the All-Star game.
Yeah.
But I love that.
Well, there you go. All right. That does it for us, guys. Tomorrow, in-season tournament game? In-season tournament game. We're going to be here covering Nuggets, Pels. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll have the homies here. Hit that like button for us on the way out. We'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.